All praise to Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua, Hashem Kakadash. Yahweh be in the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shah be in the name of His only begotten Son, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Now, when you look at how the heathen took out 14 books under the Catholic regime, and really under the slavery, when slavery began, because the Catholic Bible, they have a lot of those books, but the Bibles that they was issuing out to the slaves, it was missing the Apocrypha. And in so-called Jamaica, if you was caught with those books, the slave master would put you to death or give you a harsh punishment, because those books reveal a lot about the so-called doctrine of the Bible, or the correct understanding of the Bible. See, that's why you had a slave Bible, because if you would have gave them that slave the whole Bible, it would have debunked anything you would have taught them out of the Bible. It would have gave them the correct understanding of the Bible. That's why Isaiah 28:9-10 say what it say. Who shall he give knowledge, and who shall he teach the correct doctrine? He gonna give their person that correct doctrine, precept upon precept. The precept got to be there. You can't have 14 books taken out with all those precepts and you get a correct understanding. You see? Then you got Psalms 111:10 can go for taking out those books, because it say, he who have a good understanding is him that do the law. How do you do the law? You got to know the law. You got to have the law. See, you can't have parts out of the law and not understand the law. And so that brings me to my point, where in the Maccabees and during the time of Apostle Paul, you see how there was no tolerance for people outside of the correct doctrine, outside of the correct understanding of what was supposed to be done. You see, because Paul first was persecuting those Israelites. Stephen was put to death. You see, they put him to death because they thought he was becoming a traitor. They thought he was trading and going against the doctrine of their forefathers. You see? And so Apostle Paul was turned around and turned into a fisherman. But now he was fishing the same people he was persecuting. He was fishing peoples to understand that there was a part of that nation. He understood it was bigger than keeping the law. It was about the promises that was given to their forefathers. It was a bloodline situation. It was bigger than the so-called righteousness of the law. And so they was even trying to put Paul to death. So they thought he was trying to bring in the heathen. You see? And so when you go to the Maccabees, it teaches you a specific lesson that the Christians can't debunk, and the Christian got to identify with, because it tells that the Maccabees, when the so-called Greeks came after them, which are the certified so-called white man, when he started coming out after them and warring with them, they some of them got put to death, and then they retreated and tried to assemble the mighty men because they saw that they was being attacked. So the leader died, and then his son, Judas Maccabees, he stepped up and became the captain, the leader. And they assembled an army, him and his brothers. And the first thing him and his brothers did was not fight the heathen. They fought the traitors of their people. They fought the traitors who was believing the doctrine of the heathen and the enemy. They fought them first. You see? And so when you hear these Christians talking about it's not about the bloodline, any nation was able to come into the fold as long as they believed in God, as long as they accepted the God of Israel, they could come and live amongst the Israelites. And it was a religion. It had nothing to do with bloodline. You see, and the bloodline wasn't the qualifying factor of you following the Most High. But if that was the case, why did the Maccabees go and find the people of the bloodline and force them by circumcising the men? Why did they go circumcise these so-called Greeks that was really Israelites, but they didn't know they was Greeks, or their family had done assembled with the heathen and start worshiping the heathen custom and participating in the heathen custom? Why did the Maccabees go find these individuals, burn their houses down? Why did they burn their houses down and start circumcising the men if it was all just about a religion? See, it was way bigger than a religion. It was about a family heritage, a family. And the family had land, and the family had inheritance. And they had inheritance in order. See, 12 tribes. Judah was the leader. Judah had the greatest inheritance. Ephraim had the second leadership role. You see, the Levites, they was a blessed part of the nation. See, it wasn't just some religion. No, it was a family with inheritance. Even the heathen had inheritance. See? They inherited what their forefathers inherited. See? Everybody had an inheritance starting from when the Israelites was chosen. Because as soon as they were chosen, the other people got jealous that they was chosen, and they started to attack them and battle against them and God because he chose them. This been started, or it happened before when he chose the Adamites, meaning he chose one nation to be ahead of the other nations in the so-called Garden of Eden. Because there was many nations in the Garden of Eden, many families in the Garden of Eden. He chose one family to be the leader and to work through them to organize the rest of the people. Just like he chose a man to be the leader and the children and the wife got to work through him. See, God deals with order, man. And these Christians want to act like he's schizophrenic, he bipolar, and he gets stressed out to the point that he don't know what the heck going on, and he don't understand how things supposed to be done. But he created how things supposed to be done. It had nothing to do with no freaking religion, man. It was about a bloodline and about order. See, that's why he said, let everything be done decently and in order. See, not no random people just grab the will. See, the will of God. They grabbed the will that was given to a certain family, and when they get that will, they just say, okay, this will goes for everybody. This will, anybody who find the will or a copy of this will and believe that it's a true will, that the people that we forget about who it was written to, forget about who the will was supposed to be intended for. We just, whoever find this will or is presented with the will, they can get the inheritance. The inheritance belongs to them. Because the will ain't nothing but a promise. I promise my house to my daughter. I promise my land to my grandson. I promise my jewelry to my oldest brother. See, a will ain't nothing but promises. And the promises was given to Abraham, then Isaac, and then it stopped at Jacob. Jacob and his 12 sons. Nobody else was going to get the promises that was for them. You see, the promises that was for Jacob was going to be given to him and his children. And so, this is what Christianity has developed now. It goes back to this dude, Maccabees, back in 144 AD. He come up with some kind of theology that say, okay, whatever was going on in the Old Testament, that was a wicked God, and this wicked God is being fought by a righteous God of the New Testament, and the righteous God sent this Jesus Christ, you see, to do away with the people of the evil God, who this evil God was protecting and giving all kind of blessings to and wisdom to. This evil God in the Old Testament, who was full of wrath and revenge and murder and genocide. See, this is what Christianity got that crap from, because it makes no sense. Everybody in the New Testament, Paul, Peter, John, James, all of them went back to the Old Testament and told you these promises and these blessings is for the Israelites. See, they never told you about some other nation. They never named another nation in a good light. They named the nation of Edom and say, for Esau have I hated. See, when he named another nation, he lets you know, oh, that nation now, we hate them. In Hebrews 12 and 16, he say that nation is some fornicators, they profane, they don't get no repentance of God. When he named these other nations, he named them in a bad light. The only nation he was talking about in the New Testament was the Israelites. See, you can't find too much of another nation being even mentioned in the New Testament, because it had nothing to do with these other nations. They want to use the word nation and the word kindred and the word I guess peoples and Gentiles, and try to sneak sneak somebody else in the picture. When none of the promises, nothing was promised to these people. None of the prophets promised anything to another nation but death and slavery. That's why Macron, as an Edomite, as a child of Esau, that's why he rejected it. He said, you can't even, if a Gentile can't make it into the kingdom. When it comes to the Old Testament, we got to disagree with that. That got to be an evil God right there. Demagogue or whatever they call him. See, that got to be some kind of evil God, because he ain't even gonna let us in the picture. The only thing he got for us is slavery and punishment. Amos always said, well, 3 transgressions, 4 transgressions, he would not take away the punishment thereof. Jeremiah 25, they will not go unpunished. You see, so this is all Christianity, is an evolution of Macron, the Macronites. See, do your research, look up 144 AD Macron, and you will see this is where this Christian, God love all nation doctrine, or he willing to accept all nations. And so they would have never went looking for forcing people to keep a law, just random people. Why didn't they just go into the city and say, everybody, you got to keep the Mosaic law, you got to get circumcised? No, they went looking for a bloodline and said, y'all got to keep this law. Your forefathers was promised a certain thing, and y'all sitting up here following the heathen, but y'all got to keep this law, man. But you see, Pastor Porkchop and the nigger woman, they the main traitors. They the main one pushing to follow the heathen. But I'm going to leave it there. All praise to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shabbat, Hashem, Kakadah. Double honors to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.